Hello, folks. Thanks for dropping in. Thanks for dropping by, and thanks for hanging in there. We got a active case that we would like to discuss with you today. An active case that involves storage units. Colorado. Deputies named Briscoe and Dodd. And a prison sentence shorter than a COVID-19 isolation period. If you're thinking, my God, are they going to talk about a new dirty cop season of storage wars in the Centennial State? You're absolutely fucking right. If I want to emphasize, deputies named Briscoe and Dodd. Nothing good can come from this. Unfortunately, we're talking about the tragic death of Candace Hiltz. Again, I recommend brown liquor or beer or wine or even some cheap scope you can get at a local drugstore. I'm John.
And I'm Kat.
And this is Aghast. Hello, everybody. My name is Markiplier, and
that was a good impression. John does good impressions.
No, I don't.
So, before I have you do your disclaimer, I will just put out there that this is still an active case, and we will continue to be our respectful selves to the victim and the victim's families. But other than that, you can take it away with your disclaimer.
I have a small story to share with you folks. I used to work at a downtown community center. And at that downtown community center, we the staff, on a daily basis had people ODing in our fucking bathrooms. We had a senior day program where people from the fucking Holocaust and people who lived in an iron lung for like 20 years, they get together because no one else cared about them. And the best we could provide them is, a few hours of coffee and Wii bowling. Aww. And we'd have people ODing outside. There was a guy like throwing a goddamn knife at our door. Wouldn't let us out. Homeless people were coming in and shitting on the floor. The point is we were the happiest group of motherfuckers. We had such good senses of humor. And we took everything with a grain of salt. And we were very lighthearted, and we had to be, otherwise we'd be depressed and fucking destroyed spiritually. And we do the same thing here at Castbox. We take things lightly. We do make fun of and insult and belittle the murderers and rapists
and the bad people
and their families and anyone else who makes
if they're bad.
If they're bad, they're always bad.
They're not always.
They're always bad. So if you find insulting criminals, murders, rapists, etc., not your cup of tea, you're a fucking imbecile, go find another podcast. For the rest of you, let's fucking have some murder.
All right. So today we'll be talking about the tragic and bizarre case of Candace Hiltz. So Candace Hiltz was born December 22nd, 1988 in Fremont County, Colorado.
Oh, not too far from our age.
Yeah, just we're a year older than her.
Yep, that's how subtraction works.
She was extremely intelligent, doing calculus at age 11.
Jesus, I didn't even do calculus in high school.
She had a bright future ahead of her, beaming with possibilities. At 17 years old, she was a single mother and attending Brigham Young University online. And she was also accepted to Stanford Law. She had dreams of becoming a Supreme Court justice.
Jesus, I just want to make money on this shitty podcast.
She had big goals for her and her daughter, Paige, who was born with hydrocephalus. Is that how?
Hydrocephalus? Yeah, I think you're right.
Which is a condition that causes fluid in the brain. Doctors explained to Candace that Paige would live a short life because of this condition. Heartbreaking news, but Candace was sure to enjoy every second of time she had with her daughter. Every week was like Paige's birthday, and Candace absolutely spoiling her. Candace would never get a chance to pursue her big dreams. Her life was tragically and brutally robbed from her. So I'll rewind a little bit. On August 10th, 2006, Fremont County Sheriff's Deputy Robert Dodd arrived at Candace's home to discuss an incident with Candace's older brother, James. Now, Candace was very protective of James. He suffered from a mental illness that resulted in him having extreme paranoia and a phobia of people. He even struggled to have interactions with his own family. He ended up moving out into the woods that were behind the family home. Candace's mother was the one speaking to Deputy Dodd, but Candace was present, and when she heard the cop's line of questioning and him speaking badly of James, she jumped in, getting very defensive. Dodd explained to her that if she continued on yelling, he would arrest her, which she then held up her wrists, challenging him to do so. Candace then revealed that she has seen Dodd accepting envelopes around town from known drug dealers and that she would expose this information to the sheriff's office. Deputy Dodd left the house and Candace was not arrested.
Oh, damn.
3 days later, after that incident, the family dog went missing. Because they lived in a very wooded area, they assumed that the dog had run in with a mountain lion or another animal. I came across in my research reports that Candace did go to the sheriff's office to report her missing dog, and while there, she had another run-in with Deputy Dodd. However, nothing has been confirmed about this. On August 15th, 2006, Candace's mother, Dolores, left to go run some errands. This was around noon. Candace and Paige remained home. Shortly after she left, her mother's intuition kicked in. With the dog missing, even though it was potentially an animal that got him, Dolores still felt uneasy with Candace and Paige being home alone. She did call a neighbor to go check in on Candace and Paige. However, it is unconfirmed whether the neighbor did, in fact, go and check in on them. Dolores arrived home from her errands around 3:30 in the afternoon. When she entered her home, she could hear 11-month-old Paige screaming at the top of her lungs, crying. She went into Paige's room and found her there in the crib. She also found pools of blood and splatters of blood, but not Candace. Obviously, very concerned, she ran towards the bedroom, and there, under the bed, she saw a green comforter. When she went in and unwrapped the green comforter, she found Candace's body.
Oh, for fuck's sakes.
She was deceased. This is tough to say, but it was reported that she was shot so many times that only about 25% of her head was still visible.
Holy fuck.
I did read in some reports that she was close to decapitated from being shot so many times. Dolores, of course, was inconsolable, and she held Candace until the police arrived.
Someone clearly had something against her. Mm-hmm. That's not a crime of passion.
No.
When you fucking decapitate someone with bullets.
So the police handled this absolutely fucking horrible from the beginning. Assigned to the case was Deputy Briscoe and Deputy Dodd.
Jeez, these two sound like they belong in like a fucking 1960s cop
Yeah,
comedy.
like westerners, like buddy comedy.
Yeah, they like walk around, they got like fucking their holster always out.
Yeah, and like thick mustaches.
Yeah, there's always like a little bit of like cream puff donut on their goddamn
lip.
on their handlebar mustache.
So assigned to the case was Deputy Briscoe and Deputy Dodd, the same deputy that was recently at Dolores' house about 5 days prior. The deputies never secured the home as a crime scene. No tape was put up and people were able to just come and go as they pleased. All the evidence was left behind. Nothing was bagged, sealed, or taken for evidence. Almost right away, the deputies started pointing their fingers at James, Dolores' son and Candace's brother.
Jesus.
Dolores immediately refused this to be true. Yes, he had a psychological illness, but in no way did he have a violent background or behavior. He wouldn't even enter the home when anyone was home due to his phobia, and that he didn't even own or have access to firearms. Dolores knew that in no way he had anything to do with his sister's murder, but the deputies moved forward with their manhunt for James. When searching the woods looking for James, it was then that the family dog was found. So I'm just going to put a warning here that this next part contains some upsetting information about the dog. So please skip ahead about 15 seconds if you prefer not to hear that at all. So the dog was found tied to a tree with rope and butchered with a hatchet or a small axe.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
During my research, I read some reports that it was believed whoever murdered Candace was the same person who took the family dog. So whoever entered Candace's home, the dog wouldn't be there to make noise.
Yeah, makes sense.
After police were done, air quote, investigating.
Heavy air quotes.
Dolores and her other son were allowed back inside their home, and that is when they made the discovery of all the evidence still laying around. There was a shotgun shell in the baby crib, the green blood-soaked comforter, a computer monitor stained with blood, bloodied towels outside of the home believed that were used by the killer, and a blood-stained shirt Candace was wearing that day.
Wow, spot on job by these fucking douchebags.
So Dolores and her son ended up bagging, labeling, and photographing all of the evidence themselves. So,
oh my God.
Grief-stricken, still having to do the job of a police officer. So she went...
That's awful.
Yeah. She went to the sheriff's station to turn in the evidence, but wasn't given the opportunity to speak to anyone. However, shortly after, Deputy Briscoe showed up with a warrant and retrieved the evidence from Dolores.
What a fucking ass.
James was picked up by police 3 days after Candace's murder. He was charged with first and second degree theft and trespassing. According to the police, he broke into a home and stole hatchets and flashlights, and he was held on a $500,000 bond. Even though he remains on top of their list of suspects, James has never been charged for murdering Candace. He was found not guilty by reason of his insanity for his other charges and was sent to the Colorado Mental Health Institute. The autopsy report was released, and much like the investigations, it came with its issues too. It first states that it was Candace's boyfriend that discovered her, unresponsive, but Dolores confirmed that Candace did not have a boyfriend and that she was the one that found Candace. The other issue is that she was under the impression that Candace was shot by only 2 guns because she and her son were bagging the evidence and only found shells to a shotgun and a .22 caliber. However, the autopsy indicated that there were 3 guns, a shotgun, a medium caliber, and a small caliber handgun. Dolores ended up filing an official complaint with the Colorado Attorney General's office, stating that she believed that the case was mishandled and not conducted properly. She also provided the photographs of the evidence that was left behind to further prove that it was not conducted properly. Sadly, there was not much movement on Candace's case for quite a while. But in December of 2016, there was something. Rick Ratzlaff attended a storage unit auction. For those of you that don't know, that is when unit renters stop paying their rent for the unit, so the facility will auction off the items inside of the unit. The attendees reached one particular unit, and when Rick peeked in, he saw some items marked by the sheriff department. He was also not a fan of the Fremont County Sheriff's Department, so he decided to bid on it and put in a bid for $50. And he won.
Nice.
When going through the unit, he discovered police lights, old police uniforms, and some case files. He also found evidence in plastic bags. In those bags was an axe,
No fucking way.
blood-stained rope, and a pair of bloody socks. The bloody socks were confirmed to be Candace's. Remember the poor dog? The discovery of rope and an axe is quite interesting.
Yeah.
Obviously, Rick was confused as to why evidence from an open case would be in a storage unit, and an unpaid storage unit at that. It was later confirmed that the owner of the storage unit was, in fact, Deputy Dodds. Rick didn't feel confident handing this stuff over to the sheriff's office, so he called the police to come and had his wife record the interaction. It is said by Rick that it was a very threatening interaction and the police were telling him to keep his mouth shut.
Really?
You can watch this interaction on YouTube. You can hear it. Like there's nothing to see, but it's audio and it is quite something. I'll link the source in our show notes. But he had every reason to not trust it and have his wife record it. So good on him.
Yeah. Smart.
The evidence, however, is now with the Colorado Bureau of Investigations, and they've stated that they're looking into all the misconducts and unsolved cases from the Fremont County Sheriff's Department.
Really? Like, not just this case, but there's other unsolved cases. These fucks.
They have to look into everything, right? You know?
Oh, my God.
So in April of 2017, Deputy Dodd retired. In May of 2017, he was charged with 2 counts of misconduct. Later, video evidence was found in a landfill that connected him to a sexual assault case.
Oh, what a piece of shit.
April 2019, he faced 2 counts of second-degree official misconduct and abuse of public records, and now faces an additional charge accusing him of criminal possession of an identification document. In March of 2020, he was found guilty of those charges and was sentenced to 15 days in jail.
What? 15 days?
Yeah.
So he was sentenced to fucking COVID isolate.
Pretty much.
What the fuck is this shit?
So that is where we are with this case.
Who the fuck sentenced him? What fucking judge did this?
I would have to look into that.
That's bullshit.
But sadly and heartbreakingly for Candace's family, that is where we are with the case. Candace's daughter, Paige, did remain with Dolores, but sadly she did pass from her condition at the age of 7.
Holy fuck.
Yeah. So, as I said earlier, it is still an active case, and they're still pinning James as their top suspect, but I believe with the evidence found in the storage locker, they can't go with that anymore.
I can only make an opinion based on what you've told me, and it really comes clear to me that Dodds is a goddamn asshole.
I feel like with Candace revealing to him that she's witnessed him around town accepting envelopes from known drug dealers and stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like that creates a motive there.
Oh, totally.
Again, with her brother James's psychological illness, it doesn't add up that he would be the one to have motive to kill her. They would leave, I believe. I would have to go back, but they would leave either a key or something for him to get into the house when they weren't home because he had such a fear of people. He wouldn't even want to interact with his own family. And he was in and out of mental health facilities for his whole life pretty much, and they've all come forward saying he's never exhibited violent behavior or violent thoughts.
Oh, so they have, what is that, character witnesses, an expert opinion?
Yeah, through the doctors that took care of him at the facilities.
This just smells like dirty cop garbage.
I don't even believe the trespassing charge.
No,
I feel nothing from this case can be trusted. It could very well be true, who knows, but I don't think anything from this case can be trusted. And what's sad is that because it was so botched from the beginning, like you can't even go backwards and start over again. Yeah. You know, like how heartbreaking that her own mother and brother had to bag and label their own evidence.
That's
fucked. Like it's so sad, but we hope there's movement in this case for Candace Hiltz, and our condolences to her family, and we hope there's justice for her.
Oh, I hope Dodds and whoever fucking was his accomplices, they get some prison time in a general population. I
hope whoever is responsible, they firstly need to pay a bigger price for their misconduct.
Oh, 15 days. You're spitting in the face of the fucking victims.
Yeah,
That's garbage.
I think that we need to at least start there. And even if they're not involved, they need to be held accountable for how terribly they handled the case. And whoever did this just needs to be brought to justice.
Well, it's all fine and good saying shit like that, but
yeah.
For you folks out there, whoever believes in juju, put out the juju.
I am the juju.
Put out the juju that these fuckers get what's coming to them.
Yes. I'm all about the juju. So we also want to thank the winner of our giveaway, How to Spot a Killer.
Yes, congratulations.
Yes, thank you so much for supporting us.
Thank you.
And we definitely recommend that you go check out her podcast, How to Spot a Killer, and you can find her on Instagram as well at How to Spot a Killer.
We gave her $50 an Amazon gift card, and we signed it. Don't spend that all in one place.
No. Oh, that was good. That was a funny joke.
No, but definitely check out How to Spot a Killer. Really awesome, and thank you again for supporting us.
Yes. Yeah, we'll have other giveaways in the future. So you're saying there's a chance.
We need money.
Yeah, we love giving you guys money, but we also
we just never have enough alcohol in our fridge, you know?
No, yeah.
We're hoping this podcast can just give us
we're actually
a full
recording in a Tim Hortons bathroom right now.
We're using their free Wi-Fi. We're struggling so hard. There's a master's student beside us asking if he can use our computer.
Yes.
He's starving too. He's really gaunt.
And I don't know what the weather is like in your piece of the world, but we are currently living inside of a snow globe here in Ontario, Canada.
Yeah. And that's what, people who listen to true crime podcasts want to hear is the weather of the fucking podcaster.
I'm just trying to paint a picture.
All right, folks. Thank you again for sticking around this long.
Yes.
We will talk to you again soon. Take care.
You can check us out on YouTube at Catam Concoction.
That's CATAMCONCOCTION.
And on Instagram at cast_Aghast.
Remember, there's a silent H.